Okay, so hello, I'm Helen Draycard and I work for Libraries Connected as their Membership Engagement Manager. Welcome to today's webinar where we're going to be hearing from some of our winners and runners-up from this year's Libraries Connected Awards. So some quick housekeeping before we start. So just to help everybody and improve the sound quality, please could you mute your microphone unless you're invited to speak. As I said a few moments ago, we're recording the webinar, so please switch your camera off if you don't want to be seen. And finally, we're going to email out the presentations or a link to them, and the recording is going up on YouTube, so we'll send a link of that after the webinar. So today I am delighted to be joined by some of our 2025 awardees. Sadly, Charlotte Strong and Sarah Baker from Inspire Nottinghamshire aren't able to join us anymore. They had to pull out last minute, but we've still got 5 presentations, which I'm really looking forward to. We're going to split them into 2 groups. So we're going to hear a couple of the presentations and then have a chance to ask some questions, and a couple of more presentations and a second chance to ask questions after those. So if anything springs to mind that you want to ask, then please don't hesitate. Pop it in the chat, and then what we'll do is we'll pull out the questions during the Q&A slots and answer as many as we can in the time we've got. So our first speaker today is Mohammed Haque from Barking Dagenham, and he was the winner of the Vision and Print Impaired People's Promise Award. So Mohammed, I'm going to hand over to you. Oh, I think you're on mute, sorry.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Let me just share my screen, then I'll start. You can see my screen?
Yeah, we can see that.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much, Helen, for the invitation, and I'm really honored to be here as the winner of the award. It's quite a long name, Libraries Connected Vision and Print Impaired People's Promise Award. Quite a long, but I was really honored to receive that. And today's presentation, I just go through some of the projects I was involved with and which led to this award. And normally the main title I put on is Breaking Barriers, Inclusive Libraries for All. And that's what we're gonna talk about this one. And the award, I think the Libraries Connected chose this award, and I think this is a recognition of that libraries is go above and beyond in supporting visually impaired and print impaired individuals. For everybody, libraries should be for everybody. It is not just an award, it is a celebration of inclusion, accessibility, and the belief that libraries must be for everyone. And this is the celebration, exceptional support we received, and more than an award is a commitment to the libraries for everyone. And that's the vision I worked with, and I believe our colleagues across the UK library staffs do work for. Libraries is for everyone. One of the key things, any projects we have done, it was because of the partnership we had. Namely, this is our own sensory team, our IT team, and RNIB, the Royal National Institute of Blind People, and also the Good Things Foundation. Because of their important partnership and consultation for them, all the projects were successful and became a reality because their expertise were invaluable to us. One of the key projects we delivered is inclusive digital zones. One of the things we have found that our computers at the libraries and almost all the libraries, these are not accessible or inclusive. Either screen is very small, the software doesn't read aloud, the zooming features is not there, the read aloud or voice read aloud is not there, or Windows accessibility options are turned off. So we looked at it, how can we make it inclusive for all the residents who can come along and access these computers, which currently are not available. And that from there on, it came to these inclusive digital zones. Inclusive digital zone, we looked at quite a few different things. We have the software and we've got the hardware. Again, it's a requirement, it's very diverse requirement. One, for example, somebody may have mobility difficulties, somebody may have visual difficulties, somebody may have the neurodivergent difficulties. How can we make all of them accessible? And it was a big task how to do that. However, we come up with an idea with the consultation with our sensory team, visually impaired team, the RNIB, Good Things Foundations, our IT team, that will try to get the common softwares that will be suitable for majority of the people. For example, one of the things we couldn't do that Braille but is Braille keyboard because it was too difficult for us to implement in our IT system. So we couldn't go into that. However, we did this JAWS, the screen reader, the Zoom text, the screen magnifier that makes it like multiple times Zoom. Azabeth, the touch typing teaching, the Microsoft Word is already there. And also we enabled the Microsoft Word accessibility inclusive options like the microphone read aloud options. And along with that adaptable equipment, for example, we had the height adjustable desk that can go up and down. Sometimes some people, residents who might be using a wheelchair mobility scooter, the table for them was very low. They couldn't access the computer. So one of the things we looked at, can we make it easier? And that's why we make it like height adjustable table desk that can go up and down with the press of a button. And that makes it really, really useful for their users. And the second project was along with this one, we get it Optelec Clear Reader. This device you can see on the corner. This device, what it does, it reads a physical book and read aloud for you. It's like just a radio, a small portable thing. You put the book there, it scans and reads. You can increase the speed, how the voice reads. You can reduce the speed, increase the speed. You can increase the volume, reduce the volume. What we've done in partnership with our sensory team, we lend this device to individuals' home. So when our sensory team visits a resident, they take this device with them and train them on this device so that they can read not just only the books, also the letter, for example, coming from the hospital or from the other official letters. They can listen to this one without any other help. They can use this device. And the feedback from the residents were absolutely amazing. And we got 2 devices already, the request for more devices because we're getting the request from the residents. The main thing is we're taking the libraries, not just we want to bring them to the libraries, but we're taking these libraries to their home as well. And that's why it was really useful. And our residents that love it. But this project before that, there was always challenges. To Inclusive Digital Zone, to get it on the ground, to get it make a reality, it took us almost 2 years of research, investigation, planning, consultation with different partners. Key things, challenges where we had to overcome was lack of suitable software and hardware, the lack of IT infrastructure policy. Local authorities, the IT policy didn't support the non-standard software and hardware. The navigation difficulties inside and outside library spaces, like the furniture settings places, the reception desk where it is. The limited accessible reading materials and technology, lack of confidence among some staff, and also the residents because the lack of the suitable text there. And also the example of unclear signage, for example, high contrast signage or tactile signage, and also entrance space with potential obstacles. So we had to look at all this, the design space, the lighting, the sound, the equipment, hardware, software, all of this we have to look at. And all of this conversation we looked at in partnership with the RNIB, our sensory team, and we came up with the idea. For example, our signage, as you can see, is on yellow, high contrasted on the black, so that visually impaired people that can see it better. And then our approach, how we came up with this one. So a few things we got for. One is the physical access, that's layout, high contrast signage, comfortable lighting, digital inclusion, like the software there, screen reader compatibility, large text website, accessible e-resources. Our website, we made it more accessible for them as well. Staff skills, also the training for the staff is very important. And also we added the digital champions, the volunteers who are particularly for the digital. They support the residents who come through our door, how to use a tab, how to use an iPad, and on how to use our inclusive softwares on this one. They help them. And it's not like just showing them how to do, they sit down with them and show them how to do stuff. Along with that, we do inclusive events. Like one of the most a regular for the last 10 years we're running as a Braille Buddies. They've done the Braille 200 events, brilliant. So those events, we include people, we encourage people, some other groups of people come in, and we showcase these whole projects, and they see that they can do it, and they say, oh, I can come in. Also, what we have done, because some of them, they have their own laptop with their own software. What we've done, because we've got a bigger screen, so we have made it like an adapter there. They can connect the laptop to that adapter. They can use the big screen and other software in our libraries, and that makes it very useful for the library users and also our staff as well. The impact was, to be honest, is huge in terms of increasing the accessibility for our visually impaired library members. The increased issues in terms of, because the books, those people, visually impaired people, members weren't able to take the book out because are not able to read it. Otherwise, they need audiobooks, etc. But now physical books can be read, and issues. And it's also a positive experience from residents coming through our door. Now, it's not only those people with a visually impaired or any other things that cannot use it. Any other people, we open it for everyone so that they can see these technologies are available, they can use it, utilize it. And when they access these softwares, they go and talk to their family. Oh, I got my friends, I got my the brother, sister, father, they can be useful. And that's how word of mouth goes out, and it increases the accessibility and makes it huge impact. One of the key feedback from our service groups, we want to be part of the library. So they didn't want this inclusive digital zone inside a room or hall. They wanted to be part of in the bigger hall. So the challenges were that sound and also the lighting. So the way we overcame the challenges was we got these noise cancellation headphones. So when you wear, is that if somebody needs it, so we can provide noise cancellation headphones. So this way we're mitigating those ones. But main thing was we want to be part of the wider library services.
We're going to move straight on to our next speaker and come back to questions, but please do start typing questions if you've got any for Mohammed in the chat, and we will come back to those. So next, our speaker is Sue Carmichael from Kent, and she won this year's Reading Award. So Sue, over to you.
Thank you, Helen, and good afternoon, everyone. I also want to start with thank yous, but first of all, thank you, Mohammed, because that inclusion message is continued in what I'm going to talk about. So all of your messages, Mohammed, just felt absolutely right. I think we both spoke on the night of the awards, but I didn't take any of that in. I was too busy thinking about, am I going to trip over? Will I make it onto the stage? You know how those things are. So thank you to Libraries Connected, but also Kent Libraries. I think most of you are from the library system, and if you haven't nominated anyone for these awards, then I would say do it next year. I've had a lovely experience, not just, you know, on the night and the joy of the libraries doing it and telling me, but subsequently. You know, we've just had an article in a local magazine, and my neighbours have been coming up to me and saying, "Well done, Sue. It's just lovely. You know, it keeps on giving." So that's fabulous. But let me tell you what it was for. So I'm going to tell you three things and show you a video. So first of all, I'm going to tell you what. So our award is the Reader Award. And I love that it's the Reader Award, because this is a project about, well, not a project, it's part of the work of Kent Libraries and has been for over a decade now. It's about book clubs for people who can't read or don't read very well. So we use books that have pictures, and so we read the pictures, visual literacy. Here's a book that we launched last month at Turner Contemporary in Margate, that was written by a couple of our book groups, co-created with a group of story experts with disabilities and an artist who's also experienced in making these kinds of books, which you'll see have no words in them. So if we could have the video next, what you'll see Folkestone Book Group in the library thinking about using drama to think up ideas to go in this book. It's about a seagull, and what is that seagull going to get up to? You see, we called it in the end a cheeky seagull. So in what ways is the seagull going to be cheeky? Here we go. life skills focused on, oh, and a bit of me. You'll see a bit of me. Oh, there we go. It's gone.
Oh.
That's lovely. Thank you very much. So you saw us signing, not seagull, but bird there at the end to say goodbye to you all. So you can imagine some great stories came up from that. So, but of course, that doesn't tell you what we do in a book group. That's kind of how we might create a book. So the how is we read the books, and I've got a few here. There's over 70 in this particular series. We read all kinds of things, but we use these kinds of books to help us think about all kinds of subjects that we might want to. This one's a favorite. Like most people, the groups we've got love to talk about when they went to hospital and what went wrong with them and all the rest of it. So there's one about going to hospital. Again, no words, right? Now, we also have a series of books about bereavement. Really important. Goodness me, in lockdown, how important these books became. And we did a short version of this one when the Queen died, to help people talk about that. So talking about the things that maybe you don't feel so confident about talking about by using pictures. And look, here's another one. A refugee story, really important for many of our Kent groups. At Folkestone, for example, you know, the boats are coming up along the coast there. So it's a big story and they want to talk about it. It's their subject. And this is a very hard book to read, but a very important book for us to read. And we read it. And sometimes people are a bit anxious about some of the subjects, so we get the right support in to help people read it, but we get there. And it's important to say that all the books are developed with people with disabilities and with subject specialists where that's appropriate, either users by experience with disabilities or, you know, an academic or whatever, that will make sure that the pictures appropriately tell us what to do. But what's interesting about reading books like this is, of course, every time you tell the story, it's a little bit different because there's no set script. It's what you think. So it's like reading a great painting, isn't it? We'd all see different things. Or if in any old book group we went to, we might all read the same novel, but we might all come out with different messages. Well, these book groups are no different. And you see how inclusive that is. I've had people come into libraries and go, libraries aren't for me, I can't read, books aren't for me, you know, and it's one of the ways in which people have been oppressed because they can't read. And now they feel comfortable in libraries. It's the point Mohammed was making about libraries are for everyone, aren't they? And very proud that they're in a book club too. So all that's important. And Kent Libraries stock all these books. As I say, we've been doing it over a decade, so they've got quite a lot now. And so the different book groups, there are over 12 in Kent at the moment. Many of them have been running for the decade or 5 years. So they read their way round these and then read whatever else they want. So they have fun because there are fun books like our Seagull book, but then there are also important books where they want to read about a condition or a situation. So we've got two on domestic violence, for example. There's a thing almost none of us talk about. So that's a good book to read. And people, I'm not sure enjoy is the word, but they get a lot out of it. And of course, if they help write a book or they help review, because we do a whole process of developing the books where there's lots of testing going on, they get their name in the back of the book. And people are so proud of that involvement with books, a thing that they perhaps never thought would be for them, or that their families never thought would be for them. So that's what the books are about, how we read the books, a very quick version. And then last point about info. So how would you find out more about all of this? Well, there are two leaflets which Libraries Connected are kindly going to attach to the information that follows on from this seminar. And one of them has been co-written by Aisha Afagi, who's our main link and fabulous supporter in Kent Libraries. So it's a leaflet written about book clubs, but specifically with libraries in mind to help you think about how to do it. And then the other thing is a great incentive for you to start book clubs now, because Beyond Words, the charity who produce these particular books, currently have a lottery scheme called Book Club in a Box. So there's a leaflet about Book Club in a Box, which if you contact them, you can have training, support, and a starter pack of free books. How about that? So if you've got a book club already, great, but start another one and then get the free books and update your training. Or if you haven't, jump in, because lots of library systems are now doing this. And as you can see, it's a well-tried and tested formula that we use in Kent Libraries and love and enjoy. And we feel part of the furniture in Kent Libraries in the way that Baby Rhyme Time is, or whatever. You know, it's just one of the things that Kent Libraries do to make sure that they include everyone. So I'd like to finally finish by saying I just wanted to thank Libraries Connected, because without this award, we wouldn't have had this additional opportunity to showcase what Kent, just one project within the many that Kent Libraries are doing. And I hope that you'll all consider setting up a book club or new ones. And it's been great to have this opportunity to talk to you and tell you just a tiny little bit, and hopefully get you curious about finding out more. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you, Sue. And again, do pop any questions you have for Sue in the chat, and we will come back to those in a moment after our next speaker, who is Mary Burgess from Cambridgeshire. She was the runner-up in our information and digital category. So over to you, Mary.
All right, I'll just share my screen and make sure we've got that looking good. Everyone see that okay? Cool, excellent. So I'm Mary Burgess. I'm the local studies librarian for Cambridgeshire Libraries. This, if I can get the slide to change, is our old Char Hall, set of offices in Cambridge. Our county council moved out of them recently. They're very pretty. However, at the back of these offices, we have a nuclear bunker. Less pretty, still with its blast doors in place. As local studies librarian, you get access to all kinds of interesting places. At the back of the nuclear bunker, until very recently, we used to have 5 filing cabinets of nitrate negatives. Why are they behind a blast door in the back of a nuclear bunker? Well, nitrate film is very unstable. It's able to burst into flames spontaneously, generally considered to be bad news. It needs to be kept cold and in the dark, and a nuclear bunker does both of these things. More normally, you would put it in a freezer, but we've got rather more than most people have, so we decided a nuclear bunker was a good alternative. However, the old Char Hall site, we've moved out of it, is due to be sold off for other uses, so our property team were very keen to not have nitrate negatives that might explode on the site. And so after a bit of negotiation and figuring out what we were going to do, we thought we were going to agree to have them digitised by Towns Web Archiving in Kettering, and then they were safely destroyed. Importantly for me, our property team also agreed to pay for it. Thank you, property team. But yes, here's some examples of the pictures themselves. And there are actually 2 studios represented in this collection. And these are the photos by Lillian Ream, and she's was a photographer based in the north of the county at Wisbech. And she worked as a photographer of people in the local area from 1909 through to 1949 when she retired. She also worked as press photographer for the Wisbech Standard, the local paper. And we have over 100,000 negatives by her. And the nitrates that in the bunker are only a small part of this collection. And then we've also got the other studio, which is run by Lettice Ramsey and Helen Muspratt in Cambridge itself. And they take over a studio in 1934 that had already been running. So this studio started running in 1865 and would continue until 1985. And we have all the negatives that survive from this one studio we have in the Cambridge collection. But they were the two women who were in charge, and they experimented with man-raised solarization technique, as you can see on the picture on the left, which is basically when you re-expose a negative to light. Now, sometimes it works and looks lovely, and sometimes it doesn't work so well. But their photographs of the Bloomsbury group are still regularly reproduced in books, etc. today, and we have over 70,000 sittings of this studio. And these are important parts of nationally significant collections. We wanted to keep them, we wanted to allow people to access them. However, once we'd have the pictures digitized, we then have to, well, we've got a hard drive now, what do we do with them again? And so we had a look round, see what everyone else is doing. We decided to work with our LMS provider Civica to set up this ability to see digital images directly on our Spiders catalogue, allowing people to see our pictures along with everything else in the library and not have to go somewhere else. So we've now got over 2,500 pictures available to view anywhere, making our collection a lot more accessible, with more pictures being added each month. And you can see down at the bottom there. I will share a link in a minute with some of the pictures, and it's very wide-ranging: people, places, organisations, all kinds of stuff. But it's not just been pictures. We've also been doing some standard local studies material. We've done 26 talks last year to almost 500 people, a whole range of topics such as women's suffrage, cycling, inventions, LGBT groups, etc., to promote the Cambridge collection and what we can offer to a wide range of people, both in person across the county, mostly on the bus, and online. We've worked together with local groups on displays remembering local people, such as Alan Brigham, which is our Mayor of Cambridge there. And I've written and self-published 3 books on parts of the local area, which are sold in the library to raise funds for the collection. But my favourite way to promote the library service is by far on Betty, who is our mobile library cargo bike. And she pops up at events across Cambridgeshire to promote the library service when people might not be thinking about libraries. She's been local to museums, she's been to concerts in support of refugees, that's us with Michael Rosen, for example, local history festivals and more, and is always a favourite with the kids. And you always, whenever you cycle around, you always get people waving at you. So, yeah, I thought that was a bit of a tale of what I've been up to, and I will stop sharing just now.
Lovely, thanks, Mary. No, that's great. If you can share the link, I'm sure loads of people will be interested in having a look at those pictures. Right, okay, so now we're going to go back and have a look at some of those questions. So please do keep typing them in as we go along. So I think we're heading back to Mohammed and Lily from Norfolk. You had a question. I don't know if you want to come on screen and ask it yourself. No. I will ask. I will ask the question. So Lily had asked, "How do you keep the noise-cancelling headphones clean?" And then she'd also asked about the training that you did for staff and what that looked like with the adaptive hardware.
Yes, there's a few things we had to look at, and because I think during COVID time it came up, we got the one-time use head cover. So when we give out the headphone, we use the one-time cover so we can throw it away after use. And also, as a practice, what we do normally after each use, we use the wet wipes, just wipe it. But because we use the portable cover, so there's safety. For this reason, we keep it clean. And in terms of training, is because digital champion, we have a training for digital champion. The staff goes through that as well. So pretty basic stuff. And each software, when we run these pieces, any new stuff that we go through that software. So staff sit down there with the PCs and go through the usage of it. And through that, they learn because they know how to use that. And slowly they get adjusted with the new software. It's a new learning because even though you're using it, but adaptive software like the JAWS and others, there were slightly different ways of, but we got the guidelines there and booklets there. So along with the training is ongoing support there.
Lovely. And then another one, Karen, I don't know if you want to ask your question.
Hello, Mohammed. I was really interested to hear before I asked the question that actually people wanted to come in and feel part of the library and didn't like the idea of a separate room. So well done. But my question was, those readers that people were able to use at home, are they expensive?
In simple answer, yes, these are expensive.
Okay.
However, because when I'm looking at, because sometimes you can buy cheaper ones on eBays and others, but roughly, if you buy an off the shelf, normally it's about because we bought it about 2 years ago, so about roughly £2,000 plus and minus.
Right.
But on the eBays, you can get, depending on £500, £300, £400 used ones. And because technology is changing, and that's one of the tricky things, we have to keep up to date with the technologies as well. So we got something, then 2 years later, the software gone obsolete. We got the new software. So that's, I think, is another challenge for IT communities because adaptive software, inclusive softwares are changing so rapidly, and cost is very, very high, very expensive.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And then I'm just working down the list, though they're all from Mohammed at the moment. But then Mark, you've got a question about, I don't know if you want to put it to Mohammed yourself.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether there'd been an uptick in people with a vision impairment and or other disabilities using the libraries as a result of you introducing this technology or doing the project.
Yes, so we did see some footfall because we looked at the group because we partnered with the local groups like DABD, the other groups, they're local available. We got the Independent Living Agency, they run different groups. And so we invite them and they come in and they use it as a group rather than individual. One of the things as well, we found that it's confidence using that as well. So the residents, they need confidence. For example, even not those who needs it, but even somebody with using, like, for example, vertical mouse. Many people don't know that there are mouse different. They can left vertical mouse, right vertical mouse, and if you've got just sprain on your hand or you've got a hand pain trauma, you can use it. So even slightly that things, we found that confidence is really important. So one of the things we worked initial phase was bringing people in and give them confidence that they can use it. Is easy to use. So one of the things we did, that's inviting them with a group, with their carer coming in, showing them how it works, and that helps quite a lot. And other things about the reader one, what it found, because one of the plan was to like running an audio group, because now we do audio group, for example, CD or the other the computer disc. This can read any book because you don't need an audio version of it. But what we found, because some visually impaired or blind, they're not coming to the libraries, but our sensory team visiting them quite often for various reasons. So that's where this suggestion come up from the sensory team and ask, can we take this device to their home? And then we trained our sensory team in terms of library systems, how they can lend it, borrow it, and manage it. And they just take it to these individuals' home and train them how to use that. And this way, we're just taking the libraries to their home. Those people, for whatever reason, health reason, other reason, are not able to come to the libraries. So this way, we're kind of taking the libraries to their home. And those are able to come in, they're coming to the libraries. So both ways we're working.
Yeah.
But this challenging bit is giving the confidence that anybody can come in and use this. And that's why we open it to everybody, so they can see these, like anybody can use it and see the benefits of it. And they go out and say, oh, my family members are there. I know neighbors who might be helpful. So this way, word of mouth and confidence. I think confidence, we need to work a lot, because that's where the challenges are.
Right. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mohammed. And then Pete from Wiltshire, you had a question for Sue.
Hello. Yes. It was just I was really interested in the books, the Beyond Words books. Just wondered whether or not how available they are for other library authorities. Do you know if they're available through?
Sorry, didn't have my mic up. Could you hear what I was saying?
Not very well,
no.
Yeah, we can now.
Can you hear me now? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Sorry, I forgot the availability of the Beyond Words books. Are they available outside of Kent through like library suppliers like Askew's?
Okay, right. So, okay, thank you.
And so I think Sue's on mute. Are you?
No, I can hear you, Sue.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Sue. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm not sure about Askew's. I think so. I think that's what. But the books are available internationally because we do all the hardbacks as ebooks as well. So Kent have a collection of both ebooks and hardback, because of course they're very useful for people who English is not their first language, or they work. We find the books work in other cultures as well. So lots of people use them in different kinds of settings. The preference is for you to buy direct from the charity that makes the books, Beyond Words, because there's very little profit margin. So, you know, Amazon just soup it all up and all the others just. So, but yeah, you can buy them whatever way you want. And if you buy more, you get a discount. And you had a subsequent.
Yeah, there's a second part to my question, which was just in terms of the groups in Kent. Are you aware of them supplementing the books with anything else, like sort of like reminiscence objects, or working with heritage to use sort of like picture archives or things like that?
Well, you can imagine over 10 years, well, 15 with some of the groups, we've done all kinds of things, and we're led very much by what the group want and what they're interested in. So I wrote a little list of some of the things. So we might do a thing like, what's your favorite book, which is a wonderful session to do because people often talk about a book that was read to them when they were a child. And, you know, we can always find that and read that together. And that's a lovely thing. We sometimes read those books called quick reads. And in Kent, our books are on the shelves with the quick reads. But interestingly, lots of the groups aren't so keen on the quick reads because some of them are quite allergic to words, if you see what I mean. They just don't like the idea of the words being there, but some do. Sometimes accessible recipe books are very popular, audio books for some people, magazines for some, bag books. You all know about bag books? I don't know why they
we've got those in
they come in a box. We sometimes do that kind of end of term, a bit of fun. We create our own stories using photographs. So I showed you the printed seagull, but there's loads of different versions of the seagull story happening all over Kent because different groups are making their own stories. So people become storytellers through the confidence of reading stories. We do quizzes, craft. We've just found out why we didn't know this. I don't know. We've just started making badges. God, people are loving it. So the book clubs are making their own book club badges everywhere. So you take it wherever the group wants to go.
Great, thanks.
Lovely, thanks, Sue. So I think I can't spot any questions for Mary, but if you have any, please pop them in the chat, and I'm sure Mary can pick them up. There's somebody that yes, just saying fantastic images there, and well done, Mary. So we're running out of time a little bit, so I'm going to move on to the next set of talks. So next up we have Karen Seymour and Jake Tilling from Oxfordshire, and they were our joint winners of the Health and Wellbeing Awards. So I shall hand over to Karen and Jake.
All right, so I'll just get the presentation shared quickly.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Karen Seymour, and with my colleague Jake Tilling, we were delighted to win the Health and Wellbeing category for our work around health and wellbeing, but in particular around MEC, which is an acronym for Making Every Contact Count, using brief, opportunistic conversations around health and wellbeing in our libraries. So when MEC was first introduced to library staff, they were apprehensive, and these were the main reasons. Library staff felt that they weren't trained in healthcare or counselling, so it was inappropriate for us to be giving health advice. They also felt that public libraries offered limited privacy, making it challenging to have sensitive or confidential conversations. They also didn't feel confident about having MEC conversations because they were concerned if they misjudged it or got it wrong in any way, they might offend or scare our customers away. But mostly their concerns at this stage were because we'd received brief MEC training from the NHS using a course which was designed specifically for NHS staff. And this didn't lend itself to a library setting, and it fueled apprehensions. We'd now like to share a brief video explaining MEC.
Whether you work in health and social care, or in any role where you interact with members of the community, your everyday is likely to be full of conversation with people from every walk of life. Each and every conversation is an opportunity to bring about positive change in someone's health and well-being, and we're here to help you make every contact count. Making every contact count is about changing how we interact with people and recognizing opportunities to talk about their well-being. We know that there are many factors that have an impact on people's health. That's why we believe that we shouldn't tell people how they should live their lives. Instead, we ask, what matters to you? And seek to understand their world. A person-centered approach that looks at a person's work and neighborhood, their family and finances, their worries and their aspirations. By understanding what's important to them, we can help to identify solutions which suit their unique circumstances. And because they play a direct role in finding these solutions, they are more likely to take ownership and enact real and lasting change. It's estimated around 15 million people work in roles which offer opportunities to have a positive impact on health and well-being. But it's not always easy to know how or when to raise questions about health and lifestyle. That's why we offer Making Every Contact Count training for anyone based in the region. The training has been developed with health psychologists and public health experts. It can be tailored to your team or organization, from a short introductory course to a full Train the Trainer program. All designed to empower you with the skills and knowledge to interact with more people effectively and make the most of every opportunity to talk to people about their well-being. Please get in touch today and take your first steps to making every contact count.
So as you can see from that video, MEC isn't about giving advice, it's about listening and supporting our customers. And in libraries, as everybody here knows, we don't just curate books. We're also information providers, we're community hubs. So helping our customers find the right next step in their health and wellbeing goals is a good fit. We also started this project as we were coming out of the COVID lockdown. And one good thing that came out of the pandemic was that people became more willing to talk about their health and wellbeing. And because MEC is always customer-led, it didn't feel awkward. We were simply responding to customer inquiries about their health in the same way that we would any other inquiry. We also took a tailored approach to our MEC training, making it relevant to a library environment. And we showed how it was a good fit strategically using the library's connected offers and how these offers shape and inform public library strategies and priorities. We linked the MEC training to our health and wellbeing stock and to our Reading Well collections. And we also created a signposting document so staff could easily access those relevant resources when they were having the conversations. We added skills training and listening skills and motivational interviewing techniques to boost staff confidence in their ability to have conversations, and also to provide a safe framework for delivering health and wellbeing conversations. We work collaboratively with public health, the NHS, and service providers so that we could better understand our local health and wellbeing services. And this allowed us to offer more informed support to our customers over the years. But none of this would have worked without the backing of library management. So we would like to thank Mark McCree and Simon Lay for their trust and support. So fast forward a couple of years and it's over to Jake now to tell us where we are now. You're on mute, Jake.
Okay, it won't let me unmute if I'm sharing my screen. So I'm going to share it again without any audio this time. All right, can you all hear me now?
Yeah,
Brilliant.
we can.
So where are we now? So thank you very much, Karen, for that introduction. So after a couple of years of some really hard work, we're at a point now where we've got a MEC champion in every single one of our branches in Oxfordshire libraries. So they're responsible for collecting case studies around the conversations, making sure that all the staff know how to deliver MEC and what it means. We also do quarterly meetings with them to share best practice, share ideas, and just help each other out so we're all on the same page across the whole county. Every month in May, we call it the MEC month of May, which is an awareness month where we really push activities. We push people to think about the conversations they're having. We encourage more take up in the training. And we've done this in libraries for a number of years now. And in the past year, we're part of a partnership forum, which across the whole of Oxfordshire, and they've now taken on that idea. And MEC month of May is a thing across the whole county, including organisations like the NHS, Oxfordshire Mind, Citizens Advice, and other charitable organisations across Oxfordshire. We've also got support from two of our colleagues in Oxfordshire Libraries, Sue Andrew and Andrew Bayliss, who have created a health and wellbeing calendar, which goes alongside our MEC offer, where every month there's a different theme around a health and wellbeing topic that they'll organise resources to run events and things like that alongside us and alongside the MEC champions. So some of the things that we're doing. And then here's just an example of some of the stats from our last year. So we recorded nearly 10,500 MEC interactions last year with our customers around topics such as alcohol, smoking, healthy eating, mental health, digital well-being, all sorts of topics, which was nearly 20% increase from the previous year, which was only just over 8,700. That number has gone up every year since we started. When we first started, we were having at a push 1 to 200 conversations. So that's a huge piece of work from the whole county on this. Every year as well, mental health and wellbeing is our leading topic around the conversations. I think especially as we really took off after the COVID pandemic, everyone was a lot more open about talking about mental health, and we're identifying that people are using our libraries a lot to get out and about, to get away from some of the things that may be troubling them. So really useful that we've got this training. And last year libraries hosted 1,346 events around health and wellbeing, which reached nearly 15,000 people just in 1 year. So some of these events included sort of NHS app sessions. We had mental health, NHS mental health, coming in and talking to people. We have oral health, talking to families about looking after your teeth. We've had Tai Chi sessions running in libraries. We've had all sorts, but it's all pushed from this MEC initiative and the support of, say management, as Karen said. Our public health team in Oxfordshire have been hugely supportive around this as well for us. So a real team effort, I think, on this. So yeah, Karen and my name are on the award, but it's the entire service and further out than just libraries as well. So a big thank you to all of them. A huge thank you to Libraries Connected as well for the award and recognising the hard work and the important work that we've been doing. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, Jake and Karen. That was really interesting. Some really impressive stats there as well. So thank you. And then on to our final speaker. So last up we have James Ryan from Manchester. And he was the winner of the Culture and Creativity Award. So James, over to you.
Lovely. All right. Thanks for that, Helen. Yeah, thanks for inviting me to speak today, and to Libraries Connected as well. So hopefully I'll share my screen, share my presentation, and it'll go fine. Okay. So I'm hoping everyone can see my slideshow now.
Yep.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, cool. Right, I'll crack on. So my name is James Ryan. I'm a Service Development Coordinator here in the Forum Library Creative Space, which is in Whitenshaw. So we're based in South Manchester. So not many people on this call today might be aware of Whitenshaw. So it's kind of a little town in itself. We're right beside the airport. There's nearly 100,000 people in the area. And I guess we'd be classed as being in an area of economic deprivation. So the library has been a lifeline for the past 30 years for the community. So just to give you a bit of background, so the Forum Library is based within the Forum, which is a leisure centre. So we've got swimming facilities, we've got DWP, we've got lots of activities going on. So from the library, in my point of view, we get lots of footfall, so which is really good for getting people in the door. So we applied to the Arts Council and we got capital revenue to build a new space. So on the first floor of the library, there used to be a reference library. So my manager and culture lead, Zoe Williams and Gail Mallet, decided to put in a bid to the Arts Council to build a new space. One of the key reasons why we got the funding was we had youth provision as one of the key tenets of our bid. So historically, libraries are excellent with providing services for your 0 to 5 years with story times and things like that. And also the age-friendly offer is quite good as well. So we were kind of looking at in between. So primarily 11 to 18 is kind of the target audience we looked at engaging with. So we decided to build a media space. So we decided to call it the Creative Space. There was consultation done with some young people in the area, and they said they'd like to have something a bit more arts focused. So what we decided to do was we decided to build a podcast and music production studio. We decided to build a performance area. So the idea was to host plays, live music, open mics, any kind of creative endeavor. We wanted to support that. And we also have an interactive classroom as well. So I was actually employed to run the project. So I guess people might be thinking what my background is. So I've worked in libraries pretty much all of my professional life. I just have a bit of a passion for music and culture. So I kind of blended a lot of my interests together, which was great. So I kind of started from the bottom up. So it took around a year to build the space. So for the first 6 months, I kind of had a big job of embedding myself within the community. So I basically was on the ground a lot, speaking to the plethora of community groups we have, not just in the library, but in the wider community. I spoke to local schools, I did school visits, and I basically asked people what they wanted from the space, because a lot of the time these new spaces are built and it's this top-down approach, whereas I felt this is a community space. Our tagline, it's a bit cliched, but I think it's very factual. It's for the community, by the community. So without their input, it wouldn't be as engaging as it's currently been. So the way the space works is if you're a charity, CIC or nonprofit, you don't get charged to use the space. So again, the ethos is about providing accessible cultural and creative opportunities for the people in the area. So I mentioned earlier about Whitenshaw, there's not really any pull factors into the area. For example, there's after 6 o'clock, the Civic Centre is dead. The Forum is quiet as well. So we thought, right, let's bring people into the library. Let's bring people into this new creative space and see if we can empower people, I suppose. So I guess the key to our success has been our local partnerships. So I mentioned earlier that it's all community led. And I think by building these local partnerships, we've been able to cater to the community and to the wider community as well, actually. So Music Evermore is a project really close to my heart. So this is basically our flagship project. So Chris Madden, who runs this, approached me maybe 6 months before opening, and he heard we were building a performance area, and we sat down together and we're like, here, look, we need to have Music Evermore in our space. So we were lucky enough to secure NIF funding. So that's a neighborhood investment fund, which has allowed us and Music Evermore to offer free rock band sessions to young people aged 11 to 18. So that's on every Monday, Tuesday during term time. And we're getting around 25 young people every week, which is amazing. You can see from some of the photos there that one of the students was featured on BBC Manchester around the Oasis week, which was a bit mad in Manchester, to be honest with you. And again, the beauty of Music Evermore is that they've got lots of equipment, so lots of guitars, drums, bass, keyboards, and they actually share them with other community groups. And this isn't often the case because some community groups get quite precious over like mugs and stuff. But the lads in Music Evermore are like share and share alike. And I think that kind of embodies our ethos of, community spirit, really. Our second flagship project has been Whitenshaw Youth Theatre. So again, similar to Music Evermore, they secured a bit of NIF funding and they got some other local funds as well. So the idea is that, again, there's no cost for young people to attend these sessions. So Ash caters to 7 up to 18-year-olds. And this is a bit historic in that it's on Sundays. So libraries don't open on Sundays, do they? But I decided, and I kind of believed in the concept. I was like, right, for the first few Sundays, I'll come in every week, open up, close up. And now it's self-sufficient and we're getting 50 plus young people every Sunday. And yeah, it's been just a really good opportunity for young people. And again, having these free cultural opportunities on people's doorsteps is really key. So we've had to broaden out as well because Manchester, as people probably know, is a music mad city. And I kind of wanted to bring some of the cultural institutions out into Whitenshaw, because I guess what happens historically is that a lot of the focus is based in central Manchester, whereas we wanted to bring them out to Whitenshaw. We are well connected in that we've got a direct tram to the town centre. So yeah, I felt bring them out here was a good option. So we partnered with Brighter Sound. So they are a group renowned for nurturing and developing musical talent in Manchester over the past 20 years. They do some amazing workshops and develop, I guess, talented people. So we were lucky enough to we applied for the microgrant from Libraries Connected, and I approached Brighter Sound and we kind of formulated an idea or a plan. So we wanted to use our music production studio. So we decided to do a 6-week music production session basically. And this project kind of began the birth of Whitenshaw as a Brighter Sound development area. So what that means is that Brighter Sound have done 5 more workshops based off of music production. And again, it's just providing access for young people in the area, which has been really, really heartwarming actually. So they've done other sessions called Amplify sessions. So that the beauty of this is that the young people are creating original music. So it's original composition, it's original performance, and they're making full use of our stage. They're making full use of our studio and all of our instruments as well. So for me, it's quite a blessing to see the space being engaged in such a creative way. And more importantly, young people are getting professional facilitators to show them this is how you do it, because there is a lot of talent in the area, but it's quite raw. So it's about developing that talent. So we also partnered with a group called Media Cubs. So they help young people from disadvantaged backgrounds to get into media. So they run workshops. They do like training on how to become a presenter. They do camera work. They do script work. And they've done some amazing work with us over the past year. So for our opening, they created a video where you can see in the slide that's Lila. So Lila was the young presenter on the day, and she was there interviewing the Lord Mayor and other dignitaries and some of the audience. So it was really nice to see this 9-year-old speaking to the Lord Mayor and all these important people. They've also run a number of workshops with some of our local secondary schools. They did a really innovative one maybe 2 months ago. They did a vaping awareness sessions with MEA, which is the local secondary school, and they brought in practitioners from public health and the NHS. And yeah, it was really a good initiative. And I guess the beauty of this is that the young people are the presenters. So they get that kind of media training, which not only increases public speaking, but confidence and a whole lot of areas as well. So our partnership and action. So we had a live night in March, which brought together Music Evermore, Media Cubs, Brighter Sound, and some of our local youth groups as well. So we had over 50 young people perform on the night. We had 100 people in attendance. And I would say this was probably my proudest moment, in that a lot of the work that I've been doing kind of formulated on that night. And I guess our partners collaborating is really the key, and I'd say is probably the key to the success of our space. And hopefully my video will show here, just to let people know the first 10 seconds might be a bit blurry.
What an amazing night. Huge shout out. Hello, I'm Archie.
And I'm Bonnie.
And we're from Music Evermore. Welcome to the Wythenshawe Live Night, where the music is loud, the vibes are high, and the energy is unstoppable.
We've got an incredible lineup of young artists ready to bring the stage to life, and we're here to capture all the best moments.
3, 2, 1, action! Can you please tell us a bit about what you've been doing tonight, Harry?
Yeah, so I've been helping 4 of my groups from the Music Evermore sessions at the Wythenshawe Forum. We did a massive load of performances. You were involved as well, and you smashed it. Well done today. And we did, an array of different songs from different genres, and the whole idea is to get kids performing and learn how to do this sort of stuff in a live environment, because it's not often something you can just kind of stumble into. You kind of got prepared for this sort of stuff.
What's the favourite moment of tonight?
Ooh, so far, watching all of my acts absolutely smash their performances. Everybody was brilliant, and there was so much confidence coming from everybody on stage, even though there was so many nerves beforehand.
Have you enjoyed performing tonight?
Absolutely, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, it was honestly amazing. It was probably one of the funnest times that I've ever had here.
Yeah, I just want to say it's incredible. Just overall, like what Music Evermore and Bright Sounds have done, like this collaboration. I really appreciate it. It was very, very fun.
What was your favourite part about the music tonight?
Oh, to be quite fair, today I've really enjoyed everything. You guys did so amazing. You guys were on point. The singer was so good. This is a program that they are doing for young kids, and I think it's really good.
Wow, what an amazing night. Huge shout out to all the artists who absolutely smashed it on the stage.
And of course, a massive thank you to the crowd. Keep rocking and good night.
I've seen that video probably 100 times, but it still brings a smile to my face. I can get on to my next slide now. So, as I mentioned before, youth provision is kind of our core offer, but that's not all we offer here. So I guess for the 18 plus, we have lots of different community groups using the creative space. So these are just a selection of a few. So we run a beatification collective. So they do poetry workshops once a month, which is followed by an open mic, which is on a Monday evening. We did a really interesting collaboration with the community media crew. So they put on our first play in November. So they work with adults with learning disabilities. They basically show them how to write a script, act, and perform it. So that was performed in November in front of 120 people. It's quite stressful to run the event, but like seeing them on that stage just made it worth it. And I know I shouldn't have a favorite event, but I think for me that's probably been my favorite event because it's just really inspiring. Similarly, we put on a movie premiere 2 months ago, and it was quite interesting in that it was how would I say it? It was an intergenerational project. So we were working with a movie company called Silver Screen Dreams. So they basically got some young people together and I guess worked with older people, if I can say that. And the idea of the movie is if the older people could turn back time, what would they do differently? So that was quite a fun event as well. So every Thursday we have a cinema. So we work with a community cinema called Block Cinema. So it's South Manchester's only community-led cinema, and they used to be based in an apartment block, hence the name. So this is one of the only initiatives that is charged for the public. So it's £6 entry, which helps to cover Block's running costs. So a lot of that goes around the license that Steve has. So I think libraries struggle in terms of film clubs because they can't actually advertise the name of the movie, whereas we get around that because Steve does that through Block. And again, we kind of identified that there's no pull factor into the area. So having a cinema, we said, right, this will keep people in the area, and it's been quite successful since we launched in January. We also work with a crew called Livenshaw. So this is a group of local creatives who forms the Livenshaw Collective. So what they've done over the past year is they've essentially brought together all the creatives in Wythenshawe and have basically put on a live night in the creative space. So we had an amazing event only a few weeks ago. And I want to show you some of the pictures of the night. So we had some amazing spoken words, some amazing poets, amazing singer-songwriters, and some rappers as well. So I guess the beauty of that night was there was 18-year-olds, there was 60-year-olds, there was all demographics, all ages, all ethnicities. And I guess it kind of shows that there's a huge amount of talent available in the area. And I guess the beauty is that libraries in the creative space can facilitate those ventures, and libraries are about community. This is a community space, and I think we're doing a good job of it. So yeah, we were really lucky to win the Culture and Creativity Award at the Libraries Connected 2025. So yeah, it's been a huge honor to accept the awards, and being at the 2-day event was amazing. I guess it was inspiring to speak to colleagues, and to be honest, it's kind of inspired me to push on a bit as well, because we all do amazing work with limited resources, and I guess we always have people at the heart of what we do, and that's what gets me out of the bed every morning, like helping people and providing those pathways and opportunities. I have some contact details here, so if anyone wants to drop me a line, I'm more than happy to have a chat, because I really believe in sharing best practice. If you want to find more about the space itself, I've linked in the website as well, and I've linked to the video of our opening as well. Yeah, so I hope people enjoyed. And if you have any questions, you can send me an email or just, leave a question in the comments.
Lovely, thank you, James. That was great. And apologies, we have run over a bit, so I don't think we're going to have time for any questions right now. But thank you to everybody that stuck with us, and that, I mean, it's really, really inspiring actually. And I kind of, to see the amazing things that are going on in libraries, and yeah, kind of wish I lived nearer Manchester now, so I can get involved in your music space, but unfortunately I'm the wrong side of the country. But yeah, thank you to all our speakers for telling us a little bit more about what you've been doing in your libraries. As I say, we will share the presentations afterwards, so we'll send that round, a link to a folder where they're saved, and we'll put the recording up on YouTube as well, so people can watch it back. So just thank you all very much, and take care. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Helen.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.